Picture your last trip to the grocery store. You grab the leanest cut you can find. Chicken breast, turkey, maybe a protein bar on the way out. Your brain tells you lean equals healthy. Less fat, more protein, better body. That's the rule you've been taught your whole life. But there's one meat that breaks that rule completely. It's the leanest meat on Earth. It grows faster than almost any other livestock. It needs less land, less water, less feed than cows, pigs, or chickens. On paper, it's the most efficient meat a human could ever eat. And for centuries, people have refused to eat it. Some cultures banned it outright. Some explorers who ate nothing else died. Not from poison, not from disease, from the meat itself. Most people assume it's about the animal being too cute to kill. That's not it. The real reason is hiding inside your own body right now. Scientists gave it a name. They called it rabbit starvation. And by the end of this video, you'll understand a rule about your own metabolism that could kill you, even while your stomach is completely full. So let's start with the animal itself. Rabbits are a farmer's dream. A single doe can produce dozens of offspring a year. She can get pregnant again within hours of giving birth. Rabbits convert feed into meat faster than almost any other animal raised for food. Where a cow needs years to reach slaughter weight, a rabbit needs a matter of months. Governments have promoted rabbit farming during famines and wartime rationing for exactly this reason. It was cheap, it was fast, it was supposed to save people. But here's what's fascinating. The same traits that make rabbit meat efficient are the traits that make it dangerous. Rabbit meat is almost pure protein. Its fat content is shockingly low, often under 5%. Compare that to beef or pork, where fat can make up a third of the meat or more. So what's actually wrong with eating something that lean? Your body was never built to run on protein alone. Here's the part most people never learn in school. Your body burns 3 kinds of fuel: fat, carbohydrates, protein. Fat and carbs burn clean. Protein does not. When your body breaks down protein for energy, it produces a toxic byproduct called ammonia. Your liver has to convert that ammonia into urea, so your kidneys can flush it out. But that conversion process has a hard ceiling. Your liver can only process so much nitrogen per hour, no matter how hungry you are. Eat lean protein past that ceiling, and the excess doesn't turn into energy. It turns into poison, circulating in your blood. This is not a rare edge case. It has a name, and it has killed real people in recorded history. Imagine you're an Arctic explorer in the 1800s. You're stranded somewhere without cows, without wheat, without vegetables. But rabbits are everywhere, thousands of them. You think you're saved. You eat rabbit meat morning, noon, and night because it's the only food around. Within days, something is wrong. Diarrhea that won't stop, headaches, a strange gnawing hunger that never goes away no matter how much you eat. Your body is starving, even though your stomach is full. This wasn't a myth. Fur trappers and northern explorers documented this exact pattern for over a century. Early Arctic travelers who relied only on rabbit meat during lean seasons wrote about weakness so severe that some men couldn't continue their journeys. Indigenous peoples of the North, who had survived off the land for generations, knew this danger long before European explorers arrived. They didn't just eat rabbit alone. They paired lean meat with fat whenever they could get it, specifically to avoid this exact sickness. But here's what's even stranger. In the 1920s, an explorer named Vilhjalmur Stefansson tried to prove that humans could live entirely on meat, year-round, with no plant food at all. He'd spent years living with Arctic peoples and believed a meat-only diet could be healthy, as long as it was the right kind of meat. So doctors at a New York hospital agreed to test it. For an entire year, Stefansson and a colleague ate nothing but meat under close medical supervision, and it worked. They stayed healthy. But there was one condition they were extremely careful about. They had to eat fatty meat, not lean meat. The moment they tried eating lean meat exclusively, the sickness came back almost immediately. Within days of an all-lean meat diet, both men reported nausea, diarrhea, and a desperate craving for fat. So severe that Stefansson later wrote that a starving person on rabbit meat could eat pound after pound of it and still feel like they were dying of hunger. So think about that for a second. It's not about how much you eat. Your stomach can be completely full and your cells can still be starving. That's the trap hiding inside rabbit meat. It fills you up and kills you at the same time. And it might be the strangest part of all. This isn't just an Arctic problem. Historians believe this exact condition played a role during periods of famine and food scarcity going back centuries, whenever people were forced to survive on lean game alone, especially in late winter, when animals themselves had burned through their own fat reserves and had almost none left to offer. The rabbits weren't just lean, they were starving too, and eating a starving animal's meat could starve you right along with it. Now compare that to your life today. You're not stranded in the snow, but the same biological rule still runs your body every single day. This is why extreme high-protein diets can backfire on people who cut fat and carbs too aggressively. This is part of why so-called protein poisoning still shows up in modern medical literature, most often in people attempting extreme fasting, then refeeding cycles, or survival situations, or diets built entirely around lean meat with almost nothing else. Your liver's ceiling on protein hasn't changed since the Ice Age. It doesn't care that you have a grocery store instead of a frozen tundra. The chemistry is identical. So why do we still avoid rabbit meat today, even outside of survival situations? Part of it really is cultural. People in some countries see rabbits as pets, not food. But there's a quieter reason too, buried in food history. For generations, rabbit meat carried a kind of reputation. It was the meat of the poor, the meat of famine, the meat people turned to only when they had nothing else and no fat to go with it. And when it was eaten that way, without enough fat, it made people sick, sometimes fatally. That reputation didn't come from squeamishness. It came from bodies that had actually experienced the consequences, generation after generation, until the warning became instinct. So what looks today like an irrational taboo was actually a survival lesson your ancestors paid for in the worst way possible. Here's the truth hiding underneath all of this. We tend to think of starvation as simply not having enough food. But your body doesn't just need calories. It needs the right kind of calories in the right balance, or it can starve in the middle of a feast. Rabbit meat is proof of that. The most efficient animal on the farm can still be the wrong meal, all by itself. And that idea doesn't just apply to Arctic explorers or famine-era families. It applies to you, right now, every time you build a plate around what sounds healthiest instead of what your body actually needs to function. So the next time someone tells you that leaner is always better, remember the rabbit, an animal so efficient it could have fed entire nations, and yet, eaten alone, it could kill the very people trying to survive on it. Your body was never asking for the leanest option. It was asking for balance. And most of us have been chasing the wrong definition of healthy without ever knowing it.